thing was that you took away from that?
You know, I thought we defended for longer stretches than we have the entire season. I thought we played, you know, I've talked about this. Our team, you know, I thought we were getting about 20 to 25 minutes of really good play. I thought between this and Florida State was the longest we played in stretches on both ends of the floor. The ball didn't stick. I thought defensively we did a really good job of keeping Burden out the lane, and also Davis, and certainly that was the reason why we won the game.
How do you carry that into tomorrow?
We just got to build on it. We got to get better. You know, with this group is, focusing and concentrating on certain things. We spent 2 days really locked in trying to get better defensively, and it wasn't that, our team overall defensively wasn't great. We just had too many breakdowns that led to easy baskets, and it's a work in progress, but I do like the steps that we took, obviously, to get better.
What do you say about this, the way your team is playing offense right now? Like, it's only January, so there's sort of where you are now and where you think you can go.
Yeah, I think, guys are starting to get comfortable. For example, Marcus, had a really, really good game, but he did it in different ways. Early in the season, he was more paint touch, get to the free throw line, where he stepped up and made a couple threes. JT started off percentage-wise in the season not shooting the ball very well from three, and then obviously now he's starting to find his stride. So I think guys are starting to get a little bit more comfortable and understanding how to play together. So different. Playing with a new set of guys opposed to playing with DJ and Casey last year, and so we got so many new pieces trying to figure it out. But I do like the way that we're progressing offensively and getting a lot better.
You mentioned, I guess whatever the Notre Dame game was, that this is Dontrez's third system. A lot of transfers just in general. Is that an kind of underappreciated or underrespected part of having a bunch of transfers come in? Is just the time it takes to get comfortable?
It does. It takes time, and we're the perfect example of time. We started playing when we loaded the plane to go to DC last year, and boy, that was very magical of it. So, you just don't know when you got so many dudes, when will the light come on? I can say a little bit about last year's team. We had lost about 7 games by 2 to 5 points, so you're right there. You look at this year's team, you take the Virginia game on the road, it's a 1-possession game. Our Texas game here, really 1-possession game. They got to run out at the end to make it 4 points. But it takes time. I mean, I know, it just doesn't happen overnight, and every coach hopes that it starts clicking a little bit earlier. The teams that have the most guys back typically are the ones who play better early. That doesn't always work out that way, but it takes a little time.
Okay, and what is it about this version of the Tar Heels that concerns you going into this game?
Well, we talk about starting to play well. I think in my opinion, obviously Hubert's, he knows his team better than I do. The SMU game was really good. I mean, I thought they played their best basketball. I think RJ, started off a little slow. He's starting to play better now. He's shooting the ball better. Their big guys are starting to get a little bit comfortable in understanding their role. Their guard plays good, and Ian Jackson has been tremendous. I mean, he's been playing really good basketball. And so, I think, coming off the SMU game, I think they're playing really good basketball.
How do you slow a guy like Ian Jackson down?
Man, we just got to hope he miss. We got to, he's seeing a big rim right now. I mean, he is shooting the ball very well. We've got to do a great job of defending him. I mean, he's scoring in a lot of ways, and he's a very talented freshman. Sometimes you look at him and say, man, is he really a freshman? But he's playing really good basketball. He's playing as good of a basketball as any guard in this league during this moment right now. But I think we got to do a good job of trying to keep him in front. He's explosive in transition. He really scores a lot of baskets in transition also.
Without a key marquee win on the resume to this point, with Saturday's game kind of changed that for you guys?
I think every game, every Power 5 game, we didn't think, I'll push back on you a little bit. You say this, key game, the Florida State game now is a quad 2. And so with our league, you're going to get a bunch of quad 2s, especially at home. because of the numerical part of it, like 1 through 35. So we won't get a lot of teams that's going to come in here that's going to be top 35 in the net. So you got to try to win as many quad 2 games or quad 1 that you get. And Florida State, by them playing better, has certainly helped us out a little bit. But all of them are big now. It doesn't matter because you have to play and you got to try to take your home court advantage.
Since you referenced that, I mean, the league had such a, you were asked about this a little bit on the conference call about the ACC having a bumpy start as far as non-conference. Is that going to make it difficult for teams to sort of play their way into the NCAA field in the sense that you just rattled off like a bunch of quad 2s when it seems like in the past you can always count on a high number of quad 1s?
Yeah, I think the numbers haven't really worked great for us in several years, and I don't know why. It could be 20 games. It could be, the influx of transfers. Could be now NIL. But you just, at this point, you have to control what you can control. Most of the talking heads are going to have us with 4, maybe an outside chance for 5, and I just don't think you can worry about it. I just think you got to lock into your team and try to figure out how to win games. But it's something that we, as a league, we have to look into, really dive into it in the next couple of years because, our league grew, it didn't shrink. And so, it's one thing when you have, 15 teams and you only get 4 or 5 in, now you're at 18. And you would think the metrics will work better when we get more, and it seems like we may even be getting less, and that's the tough thing about it.
There was such a point made like with Jim Phillips and talking about everything from the off-season discussions about how do we improve this, how do everybody schedule better, right? All these little discussions. Yet at the end though, sometimes it's just as simple as on-court results. It's just one bumpy year, or is this continuation of the previous things we've been talking about?
I think this one is a bumpy year because in most of our challenges, it's either it's a 1-game decision between it. We didn't have a great challenge against the SEC, and that really hurt us. Let's just say it was equal. It's a different metrics for everyone, but we just did not have a great SEC ACC challenge. And in the past, it's been more Big Ten, ACC. It's either split. We won a bunch of them, but when you don't win those games that are already scheduled, and then you go outside and play some more non-conference games, and we have some ups and downs, it really hurts.
Coach, your team showed a ton of resilience against Notre Dame and a lot throughout this season. What does that just say about the character of your roster, especially heading into this game against UNC?
Yeah, I just think we're growing. We hadn't been able to put together. We had spurts where I felt like that we really were detrimental to ourselves. We didn't do a good job. And you look at, there's 2 games that you can go back at. It's the Florida State game, and you go back to obviously Notre Dame, and we finished those games. Now I can point to 2 where we didn't, Texas and Virginia. The other games could, they were where they were. But I think we grew up. We've tried to do more things in practice, more 5-on-5 situations where we put them in different spots where we're up 3, down 6, and you look back at the Notre Dame game, it was just complete composure for our guys. At 3:56 left in the game, we were down 7, and we found a way to win. We were down 10, the largest deficit that we had, and we found a way to win. And that's because we just stayed the course. And nobody, when you got a new group and you get into circumstances where you need a basket, everybody's trying to figure out who's going to take that shot. And sometimes it takes you out of the game. And the Notre Dame game, everybody played together, and the ball found the right guy, and it went in.
Rion played the last 4 minutes at a point in that game. What did you see from him, and how do you kind of see him grow into this bigger role that he has this year?
Yeah, I played Michael so much in the first half. I thought he was a little bit tired at the end, and it was more of a gut thing when we got down to the end. That group that was in there had started to play really good basketball, and I decided to close with them. I didn't want to, disrupt the chemistry that they were having late in the game. But, he's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. I told the team in film yesterday, that play when the shot clock's running down, he could have panicked and took a bad shot. He kind of, kept his composure and found Ben, and then obviously Ben got fouled. So he's growing also. All of these guys are in such a new role, with JT and being there in a new role. And then, you obviously talk about Dennis Parker and you talk about Breon. All of those guys, even though they return, we don't get a lot of credit for them playing on the court together because they really didn't. Yeah.
Brandon leads the team, I think, in rebounds, but there are times where it feels like you're not, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like sometimes he's not, maybe as consistently tough as he was expected when he came in. Have you talked to him about kind of your, what you want to see from him going forward?
Yeah, it's hard for me to, get after a guy that's leading us in rebounding. We got somebody got to do that. I just think, he's the same way. He's got to feel comfortable and putting him in positions and everything else. And I think he'll continue to grow also just to get better. He's a guy that can really help us. He just got to get into a groove where you look at the difference in him and Ben right now. Ben has played in this program, knows where to be, knows how to play, and his energy so high. And Brandon's really trying to learn how do you maintain. Sometimes as post guys in a day's game, you got to play hard and affect the game because you might not get as many touches, and that's what Ben does. Ben, I don't have to run one play for Ben and he can get 12 points. And Brandon is very talented, but it's back to the basket at times. So we do try to get him the basketball so we can score the ball. But I don't think it has anything to do with toughness. I just think he's still trying to figure it out.
You used to joke about how Jericho was going to be a unicorn, and now Breon is going to be a 4-year guy. When you look back, it was a COVID period. You didn't have a spring and summer to evaluate him. He was playing football. Mm-hmm. What made you want to pull the trigger on him? And how remarkable is it that 4 years later that you're still working together?
Well, he's one thing about him is he's won state championships. He's probably the best kid you're ever going to meet. He's a tremendous ambassador for NC State and NC State basketball, and he was a really good basketball player. And it's taken him a little time to really get on the court and play the way he deserved. He's played behind some really good guards that have come to NC State, and after every year, he and I have a conversation like every player, and hey, is this the right place for you? Is there an opportunity to play? And we did the same thing this year, and his role has increased, and I'm happy for him because he could have bolted when most would. Everybody else is like, hey, if I ain't playing 20 minutes or 15 at least, I'm getting out of here. And you can't say that about Breon Pass. He loves the area. His mom and sister are really, not that far, and he loves NC State. So he decided to, hey, it's all about, let me get a great education, and I'm gonna play some good basketball, and I'll wait my turn. And he did. And obviously, this, JC. You guys know this in here. You do not see that anymore. There's no more wait and turn. It's wait for a semester.
How do you balance that right now with guys that aren't playing as much? They obviously probably want to. Like, how do you keep them there?
Yeah, I just think you have to pour into every guy that's in your program, and at the end of the year, you have the conversations. And if it makes sense for both sides of it, it makes sense. If it makes sense for a young man to transfer, it makes sense. At the end of the year, we try to figure out, what they're thinking and what we're thinking, and if we're both on the same page, then you'll see them here. If we're not, then one of us don't agree, then they'll be gone, which is part of who it is. But if they're in my program or if they leave, I still love them and care about them because we recruited them here. But it sometimes just doesn't work out. And I think if you're a coach and you get caught up in it and you're angry about a kid leaving, then something's wrong, because that's just the way it is today. Like you have to get on the same page, and if you two guys can't sit across from the table and get on the same page and measure expectations and this is what's expected, this is what I need from you, or if the guy, if the player's asking, hey, I would like 25, 30 minutes and you don't have that for him, you gotta be honest with him. I don't have that. You may want to look for that somewhere else.
Do you tell the new guys that tomorrow's game is going to be just a different atmosphere or whatever, because you got so many new guys? Do you tell them that, hey, whatever you face here, it's going to be different?
I think they know that. I mean, I like it. Sometimes as adults, we all run around this area and we think that our players don't know, but we the only ones that know. I mean, these guys run around the same area with Duke guys and Carolina guys, and also Wake's a little bit further down the road. but they understand that. We'll talk about it, but they understand that. And, quite frankly, we talk about, we've had, I know sometimes it's not full all the time, but compared to the ACC schools, we've had great attendance and been one of the top teams in the country in attendance for a long, long time. So one of the things we talk about when you come here is that you're going to have these opportunities to play these local great games that are really good,
You mentioned the crowd after the Notre Dame game. Kind of what do you expect in that aspect of the game like tomorrow?
Whoever can make it. I'm grateful that I don't pretend to know everybody's situation. I have no idea. Some folks may be out of town. I know that the weather may impact it. I just ask whoever's there. I'm grateful that they're there, and I never look at how many people show up at the game. I look at how loud the people are that's at the game, and that's important to me. I never try to figure out like why somebody's at the game. I'm the coach. We got a marketing department that does that, and my job is to put our team on the field and not the field, but our team on the court, and obviously we live with the results. But at the end of the game, those fans that were at our game, you could hear them get loud. That last 4 minutes, they really impacted our game.
Seth Trimble's been dealing with that upper body injury.
Yep.
Came off the bench against SMU. You mentioned Ian's success he has had from a preparation perspective. It feels like the lineups they're putting out there could be very volatile compared to like what you may be used to at this point in time in conference play. How do you prepare for just all the different factors like that?
I think you have to prepare as Seth's going to be 100%. He's got a game under. Think about this now. We 2 weeks ago nobody knew Burton's going to play. And Burton plays against Carolina, man, he was great. And then obviously he was really good against us too, but it changes you, but you have to prepare as the best players are gonna play. Like if you do anything different, that's on you as a coach. But, Seth's a good player, and, he looked, just seeing him on tape, looks like he's ready to play, and I would expect him to be ready to play.
Do you have any favorite snow day activities with the weather that could be a possibility tomorrow?
No, coaches don't have snow day activities. I mean, what my snow day activity is going to be? If it snows, I'm going to be in here looking at film, getting ready for the game. The game's going to go on. And so my snow day activity is getting ready, and what time I'm going to show up at Lenovo and be ready to go. But I have I don't. Hey, during this year, coaches don't have many other activities, but opening a laptop, going to practice, coming in here, meeting with you, which I'm grateful to be with y'all. But we don't have, like I don't get a chance to get out, and I'm older too. I ain't getting out in the snow. My kids now are, older. We ain't getting out building snowman and all that stuff. And by the way, it doesn't snow enough around here to have that anyway. Just so you know.
So your car has a 4-wheel drive.
It does, and I don't, I'm fortunate that I do have a garage that I park it in there, and then when I come out here, but listen, we're talking about this. Is there going to be enough snow around here to make a difference? I don't know that, and listen, I mean that in a sincere way. I'm glad that we don't have a lot of snow around here. We're not Florida at all as far as snow, but we don't get a lot of snow in Raleigh. We just don't. Like, I don't know, when's the last time we had a lot of snow? Has it been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
2 years, like the most measurable. By measurable, I mean like 2 inches.
Yeah, 2 inches. Like, I remember growing up in Virginia back in the day, and Virginia's not that far from North Carolina. We had real snow, but somehow we don't get a lot of snow. I know you guys came here to hear me talk about snow. Yeah.
You think this is a matchup that could favor a small ball lineup or a lineup with Ben and Brandon?
I think both. They've been playing more Drake Powell, and sometimes they come on the bench with Withers, and Withers and Drake Powell both are more perimeter guys. So I think it's both. I think you could go with both.
You're just going to try and adjust to whatever they do and match that?
No, we're going to play our basketball and just try to figure it out. But it's our Dontre Styles is starting to play really well. So I don't know if we'll roll the big lineup out or have him in the lineup, but he's playing well. It's weird when people say small ball, 6'7", when you become a small guy. But I get it, We say small ball, when they talk about small ball, Torrin Doan was pretty doggone good at small ball, but he's 6'4", 6'5". This guy's 6'7", and we're still talking about small ball.
Coach, you mentioned Dontrez Styles,
Yep.
and his ability just looks like a Swiss Army knife. What can't he do? What have you been mostly impressed with from his game?
I just think I love his growth, and you know the one thing I really like about Dontrez is that he is a competitor, and what I mean by it is, you know, it means something to him. You know, losing affects him. Like he's gonna be that one guy, not the one, because we got plenty of guys, but you know, if he doesn't have a good game, or if he has a good game, he's gonna be in the Dale working and working and working, and that's what I respect about him. Because some guys can make excuses about it. I've never heard him make an excuse. You know, he didn't play well in California in our first couple road games. Didn't play well, and I never one time heard him make an excuse. And you can fight with a guy like that really wants to get better.
Have you ever or what's your go-to teasing of Dontrez and how he could have been here longer?
No, I don't say anything about it. Dontrez get teased a lot by Kevin Keatts and Jordan Snell. They're all cool and tight, but they tease him all the time. I have no idea why, but they love joking on each other, and so it's pretty good. But I don't. That was so long ago, JC. I don't even remember then, like how it went down. But we don't talk about that.
And maybe, you know, you talked about this a little bit after Notre Dame, but, and it's a weird question to ask about a Georgetown transfer, but for Dontrez.
Well, if it's a weird question, why are you asking? About answer? Yeah, well, yeah.
For Dontrez, you know, he's mature. I'm sure he'll handle the game the way you expect someone to handle. But like, what are the emotions like when you play? I guess guys like that.
He transferred from Georgetown. I keep telling y'all, we're not playing. We're playing a good Carolina team. We're not playing Georgetown tomorrow. I don't know. You know, if you transferred from any team, and you know you were gonna play that team, wouldn't you want to play well? Like it's just natural. I mean, you know, I don't have to have a conversation with him if, you know, hey, if you went to a new station, you want to do well, right? That's what it is. I mean, he ain't gonna, you know, he wants to do well. Why wouldn't you? You know, you want to do really well, and I'm sure that, you know, if I say to you, man, do you think he's thinking about that? Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? He's human, you know. But he'll be fine.
How would you do against Takeo?
But he's like a young little brother for me, so I don't know. You know, and I didn't transfer for now. I ain't doing that. I left because I got another contract. That's all. See you guys. Yeah, this thing's about to go off the rails now.